Khabib has never tasted defeat in a cage, but apparently, a wakeboard has an undefeated record of its own. One slow-motion faceplant in a Abu Dhabi lagoon and the Eagle's perfect resume suddenly has an aquatic asterisk. The video is everywhere Khabib skimming the surface like he's got it under control, then catching an edge and torpedoing into the Gulf as if Poseidon himself clipped his ankle. The internet crowned the board lightweight champ. Memes exploded. And for the first time ever, the Dagestani destroyer was officially 29-1. With one brutal TKO delivered by water physics, Merab Dvalishvili was next on the viral docket. But his moment didn't include any embarrassing wipeouts, lest you count the shredded tracheus of his sparring partners. In a freshly posted gym clip, the Georgian machine gives a mat-side breakdown of the north-south choke that folded Sean O'Malley at UFC 316.
Now, it's still there. Right. But he goes, doesn't it? It's even better. It's even better. Yeah. Fuck.
O'Malley's neck is drafting a lawsuit against gravitational compression. The lesson is clear: bantamweights might love highlight reel KOs, but one suffocating choke can seize more headlines than a spinning heel kick ever will. Speaking of headlines, Michael Bisping is handing out goat horns like party favors. On his latest podcast rant, the Hall of Famar declared that Ilia's tear through Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway, and Charles Oliveira is flat out better than the early reigns of John Jones and Conor McGregor.
He has a lot of similarities to Conor McGregor. People talk about the tattoos, people talk about the confidence, people talk about the way that he took over the featherweight division. Conor McGregor was allowed to become a simultaneous two-weight champion. He wasn't afforded the same luxury, so he did the right thing. He didn't stall a division. He didn't do a John Jones on it.
That public coronation could have been a victory lap, but Ilia wasn't content to soak in the applause. Instead, he let the championship shine reflect off fresh targets. Enter TMZ Sports, armed with a microphone and a sixth sense for combustible soundbites. Topuria stepped out of a Vegas steakhouse, looking like he hadn't even digested dessert yet. And the first question lobbed his way was, naturally, who's next? Ilia flicked an eyebrow, called Patty Pimblett the free sample at Costco, and promised a first-round finish with whichever limb you'd like me to break. But his real mic drop was bigger. He wants to jump to welterweight, third division's belt, and etch his name on a record nobody else even dares to blueprint.
I would love to see Islam getting the title and the UFC letting me go up to 117 and getting the third belt.
How important, we said 10 people have done 2 belts, Ilia, and obviously you are that 10th guy now, men and women. How important to be the first to do 3? I mean, that is almost incomprehensible.
I always used to say like this: if someone did it, I also can do it, and if no one did it, I can be the first one to do it. So here we are.
3 belts, 3 weight classes. One man who still combs his hair after a fight because damage simply refuses to stick to his cheekbones. That dream, however, runs straight through Islam, the 155-pound king currently flirting with a move to 170 himself. Unfortunately, Islam's scale is staging a quiet rebellion.
Could you see a world where you go up to middleweight before you go back down to lightweight?
If DC send me his diet program, I can.
In interview after interview, he admits the Dagestani metabolism is too efficient. 2 kilos of muscle cost him a month of force feeding, double strength sessions, and suspicious glances at tubs of ice cream he's never allowed to finish. Legacy, though, doesn't wait. Meanwhile, the lightweight division keeps buzzing like a barbed wire fence around his ankles. And the loudest bee might be Arman Tsarukyan.
20-30 minutes I was of course upset because I said this is not sport, this is WWE. They can do whatever they want to do. Like just I've been fighting with everybody, and like had a good winning streak with the top fighters, and then when I listened to Donald's interview about the Patty, I said, okay, hopefully he's not fighting for the title, and they must put me on the title fight because I'm #1 contender, most deserved fighters right now, and after me they can fight, but next it's me for sure.
He insists he's the real danger, the grinder with chain wrestling sharp enough to drag Ilia into oxygen debt purgatory. His breakdown is cold and clinical, smothered the boxer. ride him like a backpack, elbow buffet, until the ref feels morally obligated to intervene. Not flashy, just efficient destruction. To prove the point, Arman has twice made championship weight. As a backup fighter since April, basically living in a state of constant dehydration. It's equal parts preparation and psychological warfare. Nothing says give me the shot like strolling around Vegas at 5% body fat with a scale in your trunk. Even outside the UFC, luminaries weigh in. Demetrious, Mighty Mouse, Johnson, arguably the most cerebral fighter in history, leaned toward Islam in a hypothetical Islam-Ilia clash.
I think it'll be an interesting matchup because I will give Islam is a southpaw. Yeah, Islam's southpaw, and then I think Ilia Topuria is orthodox. So, you know, Islam's going to throw that body kick, and are we going to see Ilia Topuria catch a kick and actually run for a takedown and start grappling with him? I highly doubt it. He's going to stay on task and try to get to that sweet spot where he can get the 3-piece combination off, 4-piece combination to try to knock you out. But then you got to worry about Islam's, you know, judo, getting close, closing the distance.
The debate circles endlessly on Reddit, Twitter, and bar counters. Unstoppable freight train or immovable wrestling blank nightmare keeps you up at night. Tony Ferguson doesn't lose sleep over nightmares. He invites them on stage and sells tickets. The former interim champ landed in Thailand to host a hype fighting show. And within minutes, the presser morphed into a jostling Shavapi brawl.
Golden Ariana, they're gonna do a face-off. These guys are fighting on Friday. Anticipation is very much there already. And these guys want to throw down. Don't give them the space. Let's go. You guys are going to get down. I love this stuff. Yeah. Love it. What's next?
Ferguson's energy remains raw plutonium even when he's not the one throwing elbows. UFC 318 wins are coming, and rumors already swirl that the arena scale reads half a pound heavy just to keep Twitter spicy. Maybe Islam shows up looking like a middleweight. Maybe Ilia crashes the stage to smile. Maybe Paddy does a cartwheel into frame. Maybe Tsarukyan shadow wrestles thin air until security gets nervous. Wherever the chips fall, you know the memes will arrive before the post-fight bonuses clear. If you made it this far without pausing, give yourself a round of applause and a sip of electrolytes. You just rode the entire carnival without throwing up. Do me a favor, smack that like button like Khabib smacked the water. Hammer subscribe so you never miss a headline that feels like satire. And drop a comment. Whose madness are you banking on? Topuria's Triple Crown gamble, Islam's mission, or Ferguson's traveling chaos circus? One thing's certain, next time we reconvene, someone's belt, jaw, or surfboard is going to snap. And I'll be right here narrating the wreckage with a grin.